Hi, welcome to Simply Kindred Spirits. I'm so happy that you decided to join me today. Today we're going to be working on a Thanksgiving or fall type wreath for your front porch or anywhere in your home actually. So basically the items that you're going to need are an embroidery hoop, doesn't matter what size, some fabric, some type of decorative lettering or sign that you might want to include, a glue gun, and some scissors. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just prepping all of my items for the actual craft. I'm going to take the hoop apart because we're actually going to put the fabric inside the hoop and then we will hot glue it down later. So I had decided on this gather sign initially because I thought it was pretty and very Thanksgiving-ish and that type of thing. As I'm preparing my work surface here, I'm just going to spread my fabric out. I did do it single layered, but I decided that I liked it better double layered. It was a pretty thin fabric. I think it's just a cotton lawn type thing. And so I'm just going to place it around the hoop to see what direction that I like it the best. And we'll just kind of rearrange it. And I like to, whenever I'm making anything like this, I like to take as many opportunities to try it different ways and stuff before I actually settle on any type of design process. I do like the gather. I just feel it's maybe a little dark with that fabric. Perhaps that would have looked better with a gingham, like a pale tan on white gingham, something like that. I did decide to try to add the ribbon to it. I'm still not completely satisfied with it, so we'll see. I'll work with it a little bit. I did decide that the fabric needed to be ironed, so we will iron that here in just a little while. And I remembered that I had bought in that last Joann's haul this thankful sign, and I think it probably will look better on the actual wreath. It might be a bit more subdued, and there's more contrast between the dark colors and that galvanized metal. So I'm just removing the outer part of the hoop and the inner part of the hoop. I'm going to give the fabric a little bit of ironing. Nothing special here, just do both sides, make sure it's nice and smooth. You don't really want a lot of like starch or anything like that on there. You could, I suppose, but it's not necessary. And then I'm just trimming down the fabric to size to fit the hoop better. This is just going to be a rough fit to begin with, and then we will cut it down more as we glue it onto the actual hoop. So then when I started to glue it onto the hoop, I did it similar to the way you would upholster something. You're going to start on one side, pull it taut, flip it over, glue it, and then I flipped to the other side just to make sure that I liked how it was centered and that type of thing. And then I placed my ribbon where I would like the ribbon, and then I flipped it back over. I just eyeballed it. I didn't really take too much into consideration here as far as like measuring and things like that. I'm usually pretty good at just guesstimating where it needs to go. Then I placed the outer hoop back on and tightened it up just as if you were going to be placing something in to be embroidered. And you just pull the fabric as tight as you possibly can. I did go ahead and unpop that part that I had glued down because I should have probably put the top layer on first before I did this, but that's okay. And then as I go around, I just make sure it's nice and tight. I move the hoop back into place. I'm pulling the ribbon nice and tight so it just looks nice and neat. And when I get it the way I want it, I'll flip it back over and then I will continue to glue. So I will start on one side, just like what you would with upholstery. I glued down that one side. I glued the ribbon down. It was one of the first things I did glue down, just to make sure it stayed nice and tight. And I just trimmed the ribbon because we don't need a lot of excess on the back. And now that I have that side done, I move on to the next side. And I just flipped it back over to check to make sure I liked where it was at before I continued to glue down the rest of the fabric. Now I'm going to work my way around the entire hoop, gluing and pulling and sticking as I go, just making it as smooth as I possibly can. My poor glue gun is so old, I need to get a new one, but you know, sometimes when you find something that you really like, and it feels like a little friend when you're doing craft projects and things like that, so. Now, as I've gotten this glued down here, you will see that I will be cutting off that excess fabric just because we don't need any extra fabric in the back, and it just makes it look a little neater. Now, I do plan on using this wreath, this embroidery hoop again, excuse me. So I did not seal off the edges on the inside. However, if you did want to do that to make it look nice and finished, you could take a piece of ribbon and go around the outside edge. Now, as you can see, I finished gluing all of the pieces around the inner part of it, and now I'm just going to be applying this thankful sign to the actual ribbon. And I just hot glued it on. Then I glued the ribbon in various places to the fabric as well, so it wouldn't pull away because it is heavy compared to, you know, the fabric. And so I just let the glue sit just a little bit, and I'm going to take a little bit of more ribbon, and I'm just going to make a bow for the top. I just very loosely freehanded this ribbon. Wasn't sure exactly what kind of ribbon I wanted to do, but I did want something that was kind of pretty. And so initially I started off with doing a double ribbon or double bow, but then I think I decided to change my mind and just go with the single. And I just fiddle with it until I think it looks nice. I really have no special way or anything like that I do it. I just tie a bow and go from there. As you can see, I'm trying to decide if I want to add another layer, but I think I decided at the end that I like just a single one. Then I also decided that I needed a little bit of extra fall colors. So I went and found a pick that I have in my home that was just in my decor sitting out already. I got that at Hobby Lobby, so I'm sure anyone could find that still. I actually went and replaced it the next day. This was in the middle of the night. I'm a night shift nurse, and so sometimes the crafty bug hits me in the middle of the night, and it's something quiet I can do while my family is sleeping. And then I just rearranged the tails of the bow down kind of the side of the wreath, and I hot glue in small little bits around, excuse me, I'm sorry, I think I'm catching a little bit of a cold, around the wreath, and just make it pretty, kind of zhuzh it up a little bit, and then I'll repeat the process on the other side. I should have probably measured it maybe a bit before I started gluing things down, but it was very organic. I was just kind of in the mood and just going along with it. So if that does happen, all you have to do is just pop the glue off. It doesn't really damage anything because this is low temp hot glue. And then I just made the other side that's a little bit longer, even with the second side, and I just re-glued the ribbon down. So far I really like it. I was just playing around with some additional pieces. I think I had a pine cone and just adding some flower or adding the leaves up there, but I think I just decided to use the leaves around the thankful. I wanted it to just be super simple and pretty, and so I just went through, and these are my crafting scissors. They're not my good sewing scissors, so I don't care if I cut wire with them. I also have wire cutters as well, but this is what I had, so. And you know the dreaded hairs that you get from hot glue guns. I've been picking those off the whole time. And I did go through earlier and just glue down that thankful sign a little bit more just because I wanted to make sure it was nice and secure. And now I'm just arranging the leaves. I usually do odd numbers whenever I decorate, 3s, 5s, 7s in a clump, because I just feel like that looks a little bit more uniform and gives more depth and things like that. So on the right lower hand side, I did do 3 leaves of different colors and sizes. And then in the top left-hand corner, like I said, usually I'll do 3, but I didn't have another small leaf that I really like, so I just stuck with the 2, and I think it looks just fine. And I'm just making sure that that little piece stays down. Sometimes you need to do that a couple times. Now I'm just picking it up, looking at it from a distance, making sure that I like it. Here's Daisy making her appearance. She knows she's not on the allowed on the table, but they try anyway. And now I'm just getting some fishing line and going to slip that through the top area, and then I can hang it outside. And this is what the finished product looks like. This is on our front porch. Excuse the lighting, of course it gets dark early, and then these are just some of my other fall decorations that I have out there. Thank you for stopping by Simply Kindred Spirits, and I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial. More to follow. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so if you would like to see more of this or any type of crafting items. Thanks and have a great day.